Right Piesel. Trevor Young. Andy Mills. And now we will present the Joe Norris Sponsors Trophy. How about a nice hand for the defending team champions? Ladies and gentlemen, please stand in recognition of the teams from the Bahamas. We have the Bahama National Anthem. Bowlers, you may now have 10 minutes of practice on your starting lanes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt Canizaro live from the National Bowling Stadium in the 2013 USBC Open Championships. We're here tonight to check out Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2, the defending team champion here at the Open Championships, ready to put their title on the line. See if they can make it 2 in a row and 5 in a row back to the cheese state of Wisconsin. So stay tuned. We've got about 8 more minutes of practice and then we'll be underway with Nicholas J's Pro Shop. right, folks, we are just a few minutes away from tonight's action here at the National Bowling Stadium. We're here to watch Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2, the defending regular team champion, try to get it done here in 2013. We've got some special guests in the house tonight as well. Aaron Smith will be joining me as always in the booth. Matt McNeel standing by. Eric Pearson, lane maintenance guru and the tournament manager at the USBC Women's Championships, also in the house. So should be an exciting evening. We do appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. We're just a few minutes from getting underway. The 7 p.m. team event here at the National Bowling Stadium. We are behind lanes 37 and 38 to see if they can make it 2 in a row. Nicholas J's Pro Shop. Stay tuned.
Bowlers, please hold practice. Practice is over. Ladies and gentlemen, flash photography is not permitted during tournament competition. National Bowling Stadium, we're ready to begin competition. Bowlers have decided not to begin to lock in their bowling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the bell has been rung. Now it's time to see Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 step up here at the National Bowling Stadium in 2013. It's been almost 13 months since they left the lanes in Baton Rouge as the team leaders. Looking to get back on top here in 2013. Nick Heilman gets things started with a big strike. Big crowd on hand here at the National Bowling Stadium. Not a very big squad, but a lot of folks here to see if the defending champs have what it takes to make it 2 in a row. All right, folks, we're just getting settled in. Once again, this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live from the National Bowling Stadium. Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 on the lanes right now. Quick rundown of the lineup for the defending champs. Leadoff bowler, the senior of the group, Nick Heilman, bowling his 10th Open Championships. In the 2-hole, Matt Mislevic. Number 3, Greg Piesel. Number 4, Trevor Yonan. And in the 5 spot, Andy Mills. Of course, they wouldn't be able to be where they are without their companion team, Nicholas J's Pro Shop, Rob Warren, Jade Lucas, Megan Jersa, TJ York, and Matt Kruger. All right, Aaron Smith, we're getting settled in here, and so are the bowlers for Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 and 1. So it's going to be an exciting night for sure. And we'll have the opportunity to talk to some different folks as we spend the next 3 games. Wondering if we're going to see a repeat in the team event. How's it going there, Aaron Smith?
So far, so good today, Matt. Another beautiful day here in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium, and get to watch our first defending regular champions of the year, so a whole lot of excitement going on today.
All right, well, take us back to 2012. You were actually here in Reno at the Women's Championships, and we were just getting underway in Baton Rouge in 2012. These guys bowled on March 5th, just a few days into the event, and held on all the way until July. So a stressful wait, I'm sure. But they got it done early. They shot 34.01, and at the time they were 1-2 on the leaderboards. Then, of course, all being youngsters, the amazing wait all the way until July, but it happened for them. And going back to that team event that night, I actually saw them in the squad room prior to marching out, and I told our part-timer, who was only a couple weeks into the job as well, that take a look at these guys. They look professional, as you can see. They're all dressed in their various shirts, but they certainly look like a team. They were acting like a team, and I'd had the opportunity to talk to some of them previously, including Trevor Yonan, who actually shot 300 in 2011 in his very first Open Championship. So, you know, already a 1-year veteran of the event with a 300 under his belt. You know, they looked like the team to beat, and they certainly proved it that night. They got it done in the team event with only 8 holes the entire night. I think that is probably the most impressive part of the whole thing, that they were able to play the lanes together and fill the frames the way they did to come through in such a way. 3 solid 1,100 games. And they made their spares, and they played together, and it's all part of the strategy. And a lot of homework and knowledge there for some youngsters. And you've had the opportunity to talk to them this year as well. And what's the strategy coming into tonight?
I was going to say they, bowling this early in the tournament, they didn't have as much time as they would have liked to practice at home, and they took a few unique steps, not having the new Kegel ice available just yet. So they toyed around with the pattern a little bit back at home and messed around with surfaces and everything, trying to get as close as they felt they could get to what they were going to see out here at the National Bowling Stadium. Earlier today, they took to the showcase lanes downstairs for a practice session. I talked with Nick Heilman right before we started here. He says their game plan really hasn't changed from after bowling on the showcase lanes. They're going to kind of wait and see what they had out here. But they felt it was a good test, a good way to get used to the environment, and they were hoping it was translating. And so far, they're off to a pretty solid start here. Only 1 open, 7 more to go to reach last year. But
well, one of the key things about this group of guys and young lady is that they work hard together all the time. They're out there in the Crosse area, bowling centers, bowling together as a team, practicing together, bowling in college together. And of course, Nick Heilman of Nicholas J's Pro Shop is the expert there with their equipment. So they have every opportunity and advantage there in the world. And of course, it came down to team play last year. And really the atmosphere that they turned it into was it was almost like a collegiate event. It was so laid back and exciting. And it really made me think back to the days of college, and they recreated that environment at the Open Championships. And even though there were 42 other teams bowling at the time, it was like they had the River Center to themselves. And they were able to just create that excitement, that environment, and stay focused on what they were doing. They played the lanes together from the very start of practice. They broke them down the way they wanted to, and by the end of the night, they were wide open, and they were so comfortable that everything fell into place. right, folks, so we're 3 frames in here, and once again, Matt Canizaro, Aaron Smith, and joining us now is Matt McNeel. Of course, Matt McNeel, a 2-time defending champion here at the Open Championships, regular doubles and regular all events, and the featured coach downstairs at the 900 Global Showcase Lane. So Matt's going to join us here for a little while as we watch game 1 here, Nicholas J's Pro Shop. And Matt, you had the opportunity to work with these guys earlier today, is that correct?
Yeah, they stopped down at the showcase lanes, and we were just talking a little strategy, little little ball surfaces, making a few surface adjustments. So we put about 10 balls on the spinner, got everybody situated, and they sounded really confident, very carefree, easygoing, and I think they got a positive attitude, and they're just being themselves, and that's the biggest thing. When you come out here, you come down the aisle, you get your watches, you walk out, the music, the national anthem plays, you get geared up. And a lot of guys have a hard time coming down from that, but I mean, these guys obviously sticking to their plan so far. Really like what I'm seeing out there, using a little surface, keeping their angles straight, and they're having fun. That's the biggest thing.
Well, now these guys come from a place where team bowling is it. They come from Wisconsin, where there's a huge history for not only this event but team bowling in general. State tournament, city tournament, even leagues. It's the thing to do, and these guys are the next generation. But the composure that they had last year as they were winning, and of course everything that comes with it after the fact, all the parties, congratulations, all the things all about that, Matt. But then to come in with a game plan to come back. I mean, like we said, Nick Heilman, the senior of the group, this is only his 10th tournament. Matt Mislevic, only number 6 for him. Piesel and Yonan, only number 3. And Andy Mills, this is number 5. So these guys have not been around very long, but they've been around Wisconsin long enough to know how important and what they accomplished in the history of Wisconsin bowling and all the guys they look up to every year. I mean, the last 4 titles have gone back to the Cheese State. And, these youngsters, they are the next generation, and here they are again. Did you have a chance to talk to them, either one of you guys, Aaron or Matt, just about how they were feeling coming into today? You said they were confident, obviously comfortable. You got to feel pretty good as the defending champions, but there's some things that you experienced, some feelings coming back, getting your watches, all the different things. That it's different than being maybe the unknowns that went out there and got it done last year.
Yeah, it's just different now because everybody's watching you, and you feel that expectation out there. So that's a very hard feeling to shake off and really just put your focus and energy back into making one good shot at a time, working together as a team, really just focus on getting the job done, filling those frames, and keeping that positive team vibe or sync or whatever you want to call it, just keeping that going and not letting all the other distractions pull you away from that. So just watching what we're seeing up here, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I mean, just as far as everybody's trying to play the same part of the lane for the more or less part. They got a couple guys who are in a little bit, but a lot of guys going up the lane with surface, rolling the balls that don't flare a whole lot, and that's what you need to succeed out here.
Well, now these guys coming in is a group of 10 working together, all 10 right-handers. And Nicholas J's Pro Shop, the companion team, shot 3,200 last year. They were 1-2 when they left. All first-timers. So, again, the inexperience didn't show at all. They bowled like veterans. They bowled like, they've done this before, of course. They bowled collegiately, they bowl in leagues, and they understand the atmosphere, and they managed it, and they really shut out everything around them, and we really need to see that happen here tonight. Of course, the butterflies and the nerves, and of course, all eyes are on them. Hundreds of people watching online, people in the stands hanging over the edge here to get a look at these guys, and they're not going anywhere, no doubt, that because of where they come from and what they've already accomplished. They're on the scene for good now.
Well, and we have a really rich history of team bowling in the Midwest, and obviously Riggles' team, the Faball team, the Loons, the Lakers, the Wisconsin Linz team. I mean, it's just a very rich history, and when you grow up in that environment, you just become a product of your environment. And so that's why these guys, I really feel, will be able to compete for numerous years together. I mean, and especially once they get 10 or 15 years under their belt, watch out, because I mean, they'll be seasoned, they'll be a little more mature, they'll be closer to their bowling primes, and you know, I expect them to be a very competitive team. You know, a team that can carry the torch of the Regals' team, of the Lakers, of the Loons, teams like that. This really is the future, and for anybody out there watching right now, these are the guys you want to be like. They work together, they do everything together as a team the minute they get off the plane, and they have fun together. You know, and that's the biggest thing. So anybody watching at home, these are the guys you want to be like.
Well, when these guys came in last year, it was early in the tournament, as we said, also early this year. But we were kind of slow in Baton Rouge. We had some different events going on. Special Olympics came on. And the scores were not all that high in general, especially early. And they didn't have much to shoot at on the leaderboard, and they just went out there and did their thing and shot 3,400. And you know, they got challenged a couple times along the way, but obviously came away with the title. This year, not so much the same. The score on top right now, 33-58 is the number. So that's a big number to be looking at coming in anytime. And now especially add that to the pressure they already feel. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking as far as that. I don't know if they even looked at the leaderboard too much, or if they're just going to focus on what they do, and whatever they get, they get. But hard not to think about that, I would think. 33-58, 33-28, just some big numbers up there if they're going to make a run at this.
Yeah, it's a lot of wood, you know, and of course I got to throw a plug in for the current leaders, Jeff Smith and his crew from Minnesota. You know, once again, wow, what a surprise. A Midwestern team up on the top of the leaderboards here at USBC. And it just speaks, once again, to how you have to work together here as a team. You can be a good collective of 5 individuals, but if you can't work together as a team, it's just not going to pan out for you.
And we've actually seen some teams already shoot at that number. Very talented team from Illinois, led by George Contos. Came in here and made a run at that 33-58. Came up a little bit short, but yeah, it's certainly a little more daunting than walking in the first few weeks and not seeing too many big scores up there. It's easy to race up the leaderboard, but they certainly have their work cut out for them today.
Yeah, it's always different when you're setting a number versus chasing a number. But a true champion will be able to put that out of his head and really focus on the task at hand. Business as usual every shot, one good shot at a time. Good shot there. That was a nice shot by Andy. I get to bowl a lot of tournaments in Minnesota with him and Nick Heilman, and 2 guys who are always in the cuts, always making the finals, and they're very nice gentlemen on the lanes. I love competing with them. Really nice guys, very respectful of the sport, and they're just great people. Good people to have representing as team champions.
Well, they certainly grew up in the thick of it, like we said. Bowling greats in Wisconsin, we talked about those a little bit. And now, I don't know if it's just been since they won or since they took the lead, or they seem to be everywhere, all over the internet, all over Facebook. They're bowling something. Andy Mills and Matt Kruger just qualified for the Intercollegiate Singles Championships. That's going to happen in mid-April, April 16th to the 20th in Lincoln, Nebraska. And very cool there, so got to feel pretty confident after that as well. And like you said, just little tournaments here and there. They're certainly on the scene now. Everybody knows who they are. They're certainly the players to watch. And,
yeah, they're people who you can really be proud of as champions. Like I said, they represent their state, their area, the Midwest in a whole in a great light. They're great collegiate players, and you know, it's like I said, all around good people, and they're only going to get better. Okay, and this is why team bowling is so important, and I really feel the direction of our sport needs to go back closer to team-oriented bowling. Because this product right here is what gets people excited. It's what draws people into our sport. And people can really flourish through team bowling. So you can be a great individual bowler, but if you can't be a good team bowler, you'll never be a great champion in my mind.
Well, and last year on the way to the championship, certainly the senior of the group, Nick Heilman, proved that he knows what's going on. He shot 769 to pace the team, set them on their way to games of 11-15, 11-65, and 11-21. Again, only 8 holes in the entire team event. Andy Mills was next with 680, Mislovic 659, Trevor Yonan 679, and Greg Piesel 614. So 5 solid performances last year, made all their spares, and they were rewarded. And now they've done their homework again, no doubt, studied everything they possibly could.
Well, let's look at the scoreboard right now. I mean, you're seeing a lot of X's, you're seeing a lot of slashes. 1 hole. 1 hole. That is it through almost 6 frames here. And, you know, that really lays to rest the doubts about the pressure and coming out and everything like that. These guys are cool customers. They're ready to play. And I really like their chances. I think we're going to see something really exciting up here. I mean, they're playing the lanes. If I could get some guys to play the lanes with me, I'd want them playing them how they are right now. So I really like their chances here.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion as of late in the message boards and on Facebook and all over about this new Kegel Ice Oil being a huge difference, a huge equalizer.
Roll it. Oh, God, that was a good shot by Trevor.
So some folks concerned, I guess, a little bit about the oil situation, but you know, again, it's all about just getting out there and throwing good shots and not worrying about that. We're not worried about those details. And they practiced as hard as they could and got their equipment ready. So they're here and they practiced downstairs, and you know they're gonna put their strategy into play. There's a great shot at the 10 pin there from Trevor.
And he's giving it the fist bump. I believe he missed the 10 pin in the second frame, but you know he's smiling. The guys are staying positive. They're having fun. Bowling well and having fun go together. You can't have one without the other.
So there's always speculation early in the tournament about the lane conditions and the oil and just how things are going to break down and turn out and what the strategy should be. And you know they're going to stick to their game. And coming out here right now, the world champion all over the scoreboard for the first time. And Matt, a couple of years ago, you had the opportunity to come out and see that for the first time as well. Does that change the feeling, the butterflies, the heartbeat a little bit, seeing that for the first time, just realizing that it's real, and here we are?
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, when I came out here in 2011, you know, the first probably 5-6 shots a team, it really took me a long time to get into my stride, get into my comfort zone, slow down, get my heart rate down, and really start making some good shots. And so that being said, you know, it does play a lot into being a defending champion out here. You really have to even bowl better, I feel. You have to bowl better than you did the year you won, because the expectations, the pressure, everything else is now piled on top of your performance, whereas before you won, that wasn't there. So, you know, you have to overcome more and you have to bowl better to win twice versus just once. So that's what makes defending out here so incredibly hard.
And when you talked about the nerves coming out afterwards with seeing the Eagle in other years and champion here at the National Bowling Stadium, one of the things I noticed, and I think a lot of this group success stems from Nick Heilman just having the right attitude and just the right guy to be leading this. Because I mean, the smallest thing ever, when we bring out the defending champions, they have their equipment already behind the lanes, unlike everyone else who marches it down. And you know, when they were getting ready to do that, you know, Nick stopped everyone. Make sure you get your interchangeable inserts. You know, they don't have their equipment here, but they can still at least make sure everything's feeling right. You know, their thumbs, that's as close as they could get without having actual equipment back there. But, you know, that's something so small that, you know, most people may not catch something like that. But Nick was able to kind of help them prepare, even though their equipment wasn't even here.
Yeah, and Nick's really taken on the role of the leader. I was talking to him down at the showcase lanes just a little bit. We had probably about 3-4 minutes privately together, and I really just got to relay what I felt and what I went through in 2011. And I think he agreed that he's going to take a lot of that back to the team, and really be the leader and keep the guys calm, keep them focused on the task at hand, and keep everybody loose, keep everybody free, and make sure everybody has fun. So, he's really put a lot on his shoulders as the quote unquote elder of the group. But I think he does a great job. He's a great bowler, and I consider him a good friend. So.
I was going to say, I know Matt touched earlier on all these folks bowling college together and almost turns into a collegiate event. Matt, we were at the Hoosier Classic back in February, and we're seeing something very similar here where no one's sitting down, no one's minding their own business, kind of looking away. Everyone's right behind everyone else, watching every shot, learning as much as they can, and that stems from the great collegiate programs and just the growing of the sport throughout the collegiate level, and it's advanced down here to the Open Championships.
Well, you certainly have to communicate along the way as well. There's going to be moves that you have to make, and you don't want to be behind on those moves. So if the guy who's up sees something happening, he's going to need to communicate that to his teammates, and they need to be the eyes behind him watching, because maybe he's not seeing it, and they need to keep everybody on the same page that way. And of course, like we said, they're all right-handed, so certainly they have that advantage tonight.
Yeah, so just watching the lane play, we got Andy's the deepest of the group. He gets around a little more, so he's throwing some a little shinier. And then we got this Thomas York here too. He's wheeling it up a little bit. I'd almost, if I was Nick, I'd really entice Thomas to play a little straighter. One guy kind of crossing up the pattern, it's okay. I don't really think that's going to affect a whole lot. Now you get 2 shiny balls, X in the pattern, and I'd raise an eyebrow at that. I'd really be concerned about making the lanes a little squirrelier instead of a little nicer, just with 2 guys with a little shinier stuff crossing the lanes out there. But I can be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I think that might be an issue. We'll see. This is, of course, Andy just stuffed a 9-pin there on a really good shot. But, right now they're on pace to have a good opening game here, and that's what you need. And they're going to start hacking into that deficit of 33-58. So we'll see what happens.
9 of these 10 players throwing the latest equipment that Brunswick has to offer, Brunswick or Deviate. And Kruger, the only one, he's throwing track equipment. From some of the pictures we saw on Facebook from Heilman, just getting their stuff ready, just drilling them up, just based on reading the pattern, some feedback from folks who've already been here, getting that stuff ready to be here specifically for this event. Certainly an advantage for him, having the knowledge and being able to do that for them. And now it's a matter of reading what the equipment is doing and making the right moves at the right time. So still just 1 hole through 7 frames here in game number 1.
Yeah, they're good spare shooters. They're college bowlers. They practice spares religiously, so they cover their spares. They fill their frames. Every open is 12 pins, and now you got to get a triple to get back on pace for 2-0. So filling frames is really the essence of team bowling, and these guys at a young age have that figured out. They're light years ahead of many people that I've already worked with downstairs who, maybe misread the value of spare shooting, and that's a bad break there.
It's back-to-back 7-10s on 38. It's also what Matt Kruger left on his 7th frame delivery, so.
Yeah, and that was a little weak. It was kind of a weak 7-10. So, I think we're starting to see the first transition. I think we're seeing the ball reading a little sooner, and thus it's burning a little more energy in the front part of the lane. It has less energy when it enters the pins. So I think we might be seeing on the right lane 38. Some early transition. And we'll see what happens here. Let's watch the next 5-6 shots on 38. Because if I was up next, I might make a 1-1. That's a good shot there. Nice shot.
Missed
Wow.
the Nick working on 3 spares there. So he's back on the strike train in
Yeah,
frame
that's
number
good.
8.
Confidence booster there. All right, so let's see what Greg does here now. Matt went up and threw a very convincing shot, so maybe it was just, that might have been Nick Heilman flub. Maybe he didn't catch all of it, but we'll see. How about this Megan Jerza? Man, does she throw it nice. Simple game, very straight angles. Rolls it nice.
And she's executing.
Oh, yes. Oh.
We saw Mills leave the 9-pin just a
Man.
few minutes ago on 37, and now Piesel, the 8-pin doesn't want to cooperate. So they're throwing great shots here and just not getting the carry.
Keep going to the well. It will yield water. As one of my broadcasting idols, Bo Burton, would always say. Keep going to the well. It will yield water. But just keep making good shots. That's all you can control.
Great shot from Krieger on the left lane there.
Yeah.
He's been right in the hole all night long. 2 opens, unfortunately, but strikes the rest of the way through 8.
Let's see what Trevor does here. This is a big double for Trevor. Very nice shot.
10 in the pit.
That's sweeter than Yoo-hoo right there, gents.
Now Trevor with the 300 in 2011, the title in 2012. Wonder what he's got up his sleeve here in 13.
The next move is 2 titles, right?
2 titles, maybe an 800 or 2 or 3.
Good shot. Oh, yeah. Nice chop on the 10. You know what I like about these guys? The shoelaces match the shirts. I don't think we can get a picture of it. If you look close, maybe you can see it. All the guys, neon green matching shoelaces. That's a team.
It's going a step further for the Pride Award, so
Yes.
certainly
Double Pride Award, I say.
can't argue that.
No, sir.
Nick
And-
responds nicely.
Yeah, he did. He came back with a beauty. Well, I'm going to eat crow about transition on 38. I think that was just a flub by Nick.
Well, as we've talked about a number of times, and it's been the chatter as of late, the transition is going to come much, much later, just based on the new ice oil that we're using this year. Team play is still important, but making those moves when you think you're going to have to make them, not so necessary. It's going to hold up longer. That's the whole idea behind the product, is that the oil stays in place better. And the moves that they might be making at the end of game 1 might come halfway through game number 2.
Yeah, certainly. And we've seen that already in teams that I've been watching before, is the pattern really holds up a lot longer. And it's very important to not move until you throw a good shot and it comes up high. So I've seen a lot of people get faked out. They think, okay, practice is over. Now we're all going to step left and have free hook. No, sir. Do not do that. All right, here's Trevor now up for a big 3-bagger. Well, that's a little in. Oh, it sits right there. Boy, they got him rolling really nice.
It's a strong setup frame as well. That's 4 strikes so far. Let's see if Andy can make it the whole team.
That's big.
All right, folks, once again, thanks for joining us tonight here at the National Bowling Stadium. This is Matt Cannizzaro, Aaron Smith, and Matt McNeel. We're live behind lanes 37 and 38 at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. We're watching our defending team champion, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2, try to make it 2 in a row here at the Open Championships, and it's the 9th frame. Andy Mills stepping up, looking for a double.
Oh, yes.
And that is a 5-bagger.
Little shake and bake out there for Andy Mills. Get the walleye fillets out, son. That's a Midwestern delicacy up there in the northern states.
For those of you wondering at home, with all 5 strikes there in the 9th, we got a max score of 1192 with 15 strikes. We haven't seen that too often, but if there's any group that's capable of doing it, it's these gentlemen stepping up on lane 38 here after Mr. Kruger finishes up the 9th.
Yeah, it's going to be a big 10th frame. Everybody's loaded up. 2 guys on doubles, 1 guy on a triple. And hopefully Nick can lead with a good pace. Some inspirational strikes there in the 10th frame. But, wow, hold on to your hats here. I think we're going to see 3,400. I have that feeling. And with the way they're playing the lanes, I think they have a very good shot.
Well, it's going to take that much. Once again, on top, 33.58. So they certainly have some work to do. A long way to 3,400. But again, they're in great position here going into the 10th frame. So Heilman's going to step up on the right lane. The 710 was a little soft last time on this lane. We'll see if he makes that adjustment.
Yeah, I think he does. If I were him, I'd be 2-1. Because that last shot, okay, I was a little soft, but it just burned out. So I'm thinking 2-1, stay relaxed. Oh, no. Oh, no. You know, that's just that's a kick below the belt. I mean, that wasn't all that bad. I think he did like a 2-1, stayed soft, trusted the ball, and boy, he's just gotten absolutely jammed on 38. Light 710, now high 4.9. Man. Well, let's see how the team deals with this. See if they can pick it up.
Say they put 3 strikes after a 710 in the 8th frame, along with 1 other spare, so they certainly picked him up there, and that's, as we mentioned last year, they only had 8 opens. That's only the 3rd one so far.
That's all right. Nice shot. Big triple now.
Mislovic starting off his 10th frame strong there.
Yeah, that's huge. So he can go off for, is that 240?
That would be 240, yep.
240, okay.
Yeah, the 8th frame is already added up here at the National Bowling Stadium, so that's one of the tricky things to get used to, watching scores and calculating finals, is understanding how much is added up. I know I had a problem with that the very first week. This was a little different than the Women's Championships last year, and the team...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I thought Rick Thomas's group actually didn't have enough to get into the lead, and they ended up doing it. It snuck up behind me, so I had to reevaluate how I was watching these scores, and thankfully ever since then it's been good.
Well, it's a good thing you used to deal blackjack. Count those cards.
Absolutely.
Good at addition. All right, so Matt easily 230 or 240 here. He's got them both in the 10th. Big 10th frame to hold up Nick. Ooh, 6 count.
Looked a little puzzled after that one.
And he kind of, wrinkled the brow at that one. Like he thought that was all right. And I can see him here talking to Trevor. It looked all right to him, I think. And it went high. So we might be starting to see that transition I alluded to earlier. We'll see, though. Big shots by Greg here, though. Potential 234. That'll get him back on track here for a good 1100. And very important to start out with a good, healthy start, so you're not bearing yourself and really putting the pressure on for the next 2 games. Sit. Oh, yes. Nice shot.
Great shot.
Now, this is like, I think anybody off the streets could come in, watch these guys, and just appreciate the teamwork and the sportsmanship and the good bowling. If I knew nothing about bowling, I could watch these guys and just have an appreciation for it. What a great team.
I was going to say a few pairs to our left here outside the broadcast on 2930. A team from Lafayette, Colorado putting up a decent first game. They're setting up their 9th frame right now.
Come on, Greg. Oh, yes. Big shot there. That's a biggie. Yeah, Mike Diaz and his brother and a couple other guys, they can play. Now, also on the companion team is 1997 BPAA U.S. Open runner-up George Brooks, who lost to David Husted. And George was throwing a Gray Wolf, Husted throwing the Red Pulse, but that was the year Husted won back-to-back U.S. Opens, stemming 96 and 97. So just a fun fact for everyone back home there, but thought I'd point that out.
Well, we got a little bit of an intimate team event here tonight at the National Bowling Stadium. We're using lanes 19 through 46. And if you'd like to follow along at home, follow any of those teams, you can catch the live scoring on X Bowling. So you can check your X Bowling app on your cellular device or on the computer, xbowling.com. And you can pull up any lane in the house and see exactly what's going on outside of our TV pair, of course. So if you want to keep an eye on 29 and 30, go ahead and check that out, X Bowling. You can find a link to that on the Open Championships page on bowl.com or download the app on your smartphone.
All right, so great out by Greg, 234. Now Trevor, a possible 245.
245, yep.
Now that'll get him to 1100 right there. Then whatever Andy gets is gravy. So, big couple frames here by Trevor. Let's see what happens. That's pretty nice. Oh, yes, sir.
This team has responded fantastically to Nick Heilman's 4-9 split to start off the 10th, and they've picked him up certainly.
Oh, yeah. And Trevor just looked back and smiled. That's great to see. I mean, just he's enjoying the moment, regardless of what's happening out there. He's enjoying the moment and really thriving in the spotlight and the pressure and everything around him. Let's see once again here. That's pretty good. Come on, yes. Yes, sir.
And as we talked about, he comes off the approach to 9 high fives waiting for him. Looks like he's going to grab another ball to try to get a read here on the fill ball. But, he threw the 2 big ones, so now it's bonus here. Of course, every pin counts for sure. But if you're looking at transition or thinking about a move, now's the time to try something out.
Yeah, I think he saw that 10 pin was pretty good. But of course, a messenger 10 is really just a flat 10. You get a good break. That's what a good bowler equates it to. So now that ball reads the mids a lot stronger. Doesn't get down the lane as much as we saw. I'd expect he'll go back to that nexus. I think he might just try to make some release changes or maybe a tempo change or something. Because that ball was rolling like a gravy train with biscuit wheels.
These guys were feeling any pressure coming out, getting their watches and eagles, and seeing their banner for the first time, seeing that word champion up next to their names. They're certainly not showing it. 193, 236, 234, 244. And now Andy Mills looking to finish it off here. So a very solid start for our defending champs.
That's okay.
No harm.
Box are allowed. Box are allowed here.
Is it a rule if you're wearing a Brunswick shirt that you have to do that? Very Sean Rash-esque.
Except for when he did it, it got a little expensive. And unfortunately, he lost that match to Norm Duke, if I remember correctly.
Say with 3 strikes here, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 defending regular team champions can finish with 11:55 their opening game.
That's a big number out there. Come on, Andy. Just, he just got that one in a little bit, and it just kind of sat right there at the end of the pattern. The guys have started driving the oil left, and it just kind of got hung up. It didn't really get to the, a board or two right, and it would have been right there, but it got caught up in I think a little the wall that they're creating, and just delayed a little long. But that was a good shot out there. So they'll be 11-1 or 11-0.
We'll get 20 here, so 11-14, 11-34 with a strike on the fill ball. So
that's a fine start. That's a fine start out there.
Already ahead of last year's pace. So,
yeah. What a great team. Boy, I can't say that enough. What a great team. See, now, that one was a little more right, came back a little harder, but still burned out, left a weak 10. So I think he has some thinking to do. He might have to change up the angles or change equipment. We'll see what happens here this next game. But wow, what a fine start on the blocks, especially after, coming out, all the pressure, etc. Coming out with 11:33. A good, healthy start out there.
Nicholas J's crossing team finished with a 9.65 in their opener. Rough start at rough ending there. They had the last 3 bowlers all opened in the 10th. What's the key for them to bounce back here, as well as, as a team sport here, they're all working together. I'm sure Nick's, in their ear, keeping them positive. But when you struggle a little bit more than your companion team, it may come your effort may change a little bit, but I don't think that's going to happen with this group of 10 here.
No, they're staying focused on their job. I really think that the companion team, their role is to make sure they don't screw the lanes up. They want to be competitive, yes, but not get in the way of the guys who have the better chance. And that's the big role that the companion team needs to play right now, is making sure that they don't mess up. That they don't mess up the pattern for the A squad, and that would be the biggest thing. So, stay positive, keep the good vibes out there, and really root on the A team.
So we're heading into game number 2 here, and we're watching our defending champs, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Title is on the line and off to a spectacular start, 11:33 in the opener, and the number they're chasing right now, 33:58, Breakpoint Pro Shop 2 from Sartell, Minnesota. And if they're going to make the top 10, 31:76. They got a great start towards that. They're not looking at 10th place right now. They're looking at the number 1 spot and a spectacular start towards Team All Events as well. We'll get into all that and much more as we watch Game 2 unfold with a pair of spares and a strike here.
Saying to our left, Mike Diaz's group can actually finish. They can get 100 more pins with their final 2 bowlers. They can go 11:46 out the gate. So we got some rollers out here tonight.
Yeah, Mike Diaz. I got to cross near him in the Masters, he is a phenomenal left-handed player. Very good, simple game. He can definitely line them up. All right, so let's see what Trevor does here. Now, he was kind of on the fringe with the ball change. He's staying with the Nexus. All right, little shake and bake, going right back to the honey hole. Now, see, here's the guy. I don't like to see that. You know, times in there wheeling and dealing. And that just makes me shake my head. But we'll see what happens here. All right, it looks like Andy bumped left. Gets the 10 out that time. So he just moved everything into the middle of the pattern. Moved the eyes left, moved the feet left, and better result. Ball covered less boards, saved more energy, snapped that 10 right out of there.
Now with Tom and Andy already a little further in than everyone else, what do you think once the other 8 have to start bumping in? How much is that going to affect them, do you think, and what do you think they're going to see out there?
Well, traditionally, when you got guys playing inside of you, they're actually just pushing oil into your track area. So the guys left are actually just driving oil right, and the guys to the right are driving oil to the left. So they're actually, I think they're going to make like a little streak, and you're going to see, I think when the guys start moving, they might get more haying than they want because of the guys playing left of them. But we'll see. You know, of course, with the Kegel ice oil not moving as much, you know, that's going to be, the jury's still out on that one. But I think, it's my prediction, as we start moving, see the guys move left, they're going to get a little more haying than they want. They might have to soften up in the hand and play a little straighter. They might not be able to get left and open up the lane. They're going to have to close up their angles as they move in. Just like that. Just like that, shot on 37. Matt made a move left with the feet, tried to get it right like he did, and it did not come back. It really skated down there, and that's kind of scary to see. You know, hopefully they've created enough of a strip in front of the pocket they can use it for push. So we'll see what happens here as it progresses, but this is a good opportunity early to stack up some doubles. Greg, Trevor, and Andy all on strikes, so let's see if they can stack up some doubles. And boy, what a crowd watching. We got a lot of the shop guys here. A lot of people up in the stands. These guys have earned respect out here and a lot of attention, and rightfully so. They're putting on a good display for everybody at home. So now Trevor's moving a little left. Okay, good break there. So Trevor moved everything a little further left.
And the wild card, TJ York, leaves a 10 pin there, and yeah, it's one of those things. We were both out here watching practice. I was surprised to see 2 guys that far in to start, and like I said, we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully they can figure out all the transition
good
going
shot
on
there.
out there.
Boy, that's a nice shot. He's got it rolling really good. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be very interesting to see whether the 2 guys really playing left, wheeling and dealing, especially TJ. Andy's at least, he's moved his eyes left, so he's keeping his angles a little straighter, which if you are going to play in, you have to do that here. You can't just, you know, feed it to the right. But TJ, he's wheeling and dealing. And nice shot there. Boy, does he throw good. Man, just rolls it really nice. Good attitude. But yeah, we'll see how it pans out here. Only time will tell. I like their chances of shooting 3,400. I really do.
Should they get to that magic number and you'd like to check out the recap of that, you can find all the news later tonight and tomorrow on bowl.com. Go to the Open Championships page, read all about Nicholas J's Pro Shop, as well as all of our other great news and features from the event. You can find scores, pictures, blogs, you name it. Nick Heilman trying to get his picture back up on bowl.com. Great shot there for a double.
Yeah, now that came up light too. Did you see that? So now he's starting to creep in a little bit, and I think he's finding that shim that they created by everybody starting a little further right. So they've played into that shim now, so they're starting to come up a little light, so they might have to go back to a little softer hand and really roll it more. Let's see.
It's back-to-back light shots for Mislovic there, so yeah, gave away some count as well.
Yeah, and that's not an easy spare on this pattern. It's not fun to shoot at half the rack.
To our left, Coach's Corner 1 featuring Mike Diaz, Lafayette, Colorado. 11-22 start, so only 11 pins difference.
Ooh, good spare. All right. Comes back with a smile on his face.
Sent the 2-pin across the deck there, it looked like. I get to see that every day.
Well, he's got some power. He can wind it up. Yeah, I think Coach's Corner is quietly going about their business over there and really just hanging with Nicholas J's here, so it could be very, very interesting. I'm glad I skipped dinner for this. This is going to be fun. I better not use my gravy train reference. I'll get especially hungry then. All right, Greg. Greg came up light too.
The ball just seems like it's a little bit lazy at the break point right now for
Yeah,
what we may be seeing out there.
that's actually what that is the ball is expending energy in the mid lanes. It's really not seeing oil that's being carried down. It's actually seeing oil that's dissipated. And so it's burning up a little in the mid lanes and hence not finishing as much. So you need to actually move closer to the head pin on a situation like that, or you straighten up the feet, close the angle down, soften up in the hand, and go more up the lane instead of giving away. And you can see the guys, they're conferencing about that right now, because this lane 38 is starting to get a little squirrely on them, I think. Let's see what Trevor does here. He's pretty locked in. He came in light last time. And he's giving it the wheel. Gets a good mix. Matt C., you're a collegiate bowler, right, sir?
I was many, many years ago.
Now, being as I have yet to experience the collegiate arena, I really can't give the greatest firsthand experience from what these guys get out there, but can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I mean, there's nothing like college bowling for sure. I mean, we're seeing a little bit of it right now. That's just the team atmosphere, the communication, knowing that when you turn around, no matter what you just did, there's 9 or 10 or 12 people just ready to talk to you, high-five you, regardless of what happened out there. And just the whole experience on the lanes, off the lanes. So much of college bowling, it's about, what happens, as you're traveling across the country in a van packed with 15 bowlers and, partying at the hotel and doing homework, halfway across the country, and then trying to focus on the fact that it goes so quickly. You don't think it does. You're there all day long. We talked about that, too, at the Hoosier Classic. It's some long days, 6-team games, 9-team games. You're there for many, many hours at a time. How do you keep this energy up? Because they just don't sit down. They're right there. And you'll see this in the fall at Wichita State especially. Those guys always up right around the ball return. They're talking about everything. They're watching every shot. They're taking notes. And just to be able to do that day in and day out, it's difficult. And that's just also part of it. It's a mental training as well as it is being able to bowl 9 games. I mean, anybody can do that. But it's being able to throw the big shots when you have to, and just stay up and stay mentally strong, all day, and just keep your energy up. Same thing here. You're looking at a 3.5-hour team event, from the time you march out to the time you're done. And you only get one shot at it every year, so you really need to be there. And, they're talking every shot. They're supportive no matter what. Heilman struggled in game number 1, only shot 190. And he was the big guy last year with 760, so a little bit of a role reversal. But again, they're talking through it, and they have that experience to lean back on, and they're able to do that.
So I have a lot to look forward to, it sounds like.
There's nothing like it. And just don't let it go too fast. Take advantage of every opportunity. I know at Wichita it is a full experience. You're in bowling, you're all the time. There's workouts that you do, and there's mental exercises and things to stay strong and to learn how to be a team player. And it's all a huge package. And of course, just being a part of it and being out there in the travel, it's all what college bowling is all about. The big goal, of course, to get to nationals, the intercollegiate team championships. And then it's all Baker. So some different formats, maybe that you're not as familiar with from your days. I know team bowling big in Minnesota, so you have that going for you. When you get down to sectionals and the national level, it's all Baker all the time. So you go out there, it's the same deal. It's a long day, 32 games a day at the ITCs. You only get 2 shots a game, so at the rest of it, you're watching what everybody else is doing. You're waiting for your shot, your turn to come up, and then you have to be ready when it's time. And then being left-handed, you're kind of on your own too a little bit. So something that you need to learn how to think like a right-hander. They're going to have to learn how to help you out. And again, moving pairs and different things all comes into play. And of course, your experience here and their experience here, it all helps out either way.
I think that's why these guys are so good right now at a young age. Just everything you described there is everything that I've been teaching downstairs, everything that Mike J teaches on Lane 81. Riggs will tell you the same thing. It's all about teamwork, staying positive. Everything you described, that's what you need here to succeed. And, your singles isn't possible without the rest of the guys on your pair. Your doubles isn't possible without the rest of the guys on your pair. Your team isn't possible with the rest of the guys on your pair in team all events. So this is really a team tournament, and all the team experience these guys get, that's why they have a leg up on a competition. It's because they've gone through it before.
Well, these guys also have the advantages at home. There's a lot of information that goes around town in Wisconsin. A lot of guys have already been here. People do their homework, reading patterns, different things. Years and years of advice that they can rely on. And the fact that they all get to bowl together. They bowl leagues together, 5-player leagues. They practice together. They simulate the team event, that they're going to have here at the Open Championships. So they go out there. Heilman with his expertise in their pro shop, they all go get their equipment drilled, set up specifically for this. Something's not working right, they make a change. But the fact that they can all practice together, whether it's on the pattern or it's not, you're practicing the atmosphere, the environment. You're practicing communicating, watching each other's ball reactions, learning, the little things that you can help as an extra pair of eyes, because it all plays in. It's not just about putting down the lane condition and bowling on it until you feel comfortable. There's so much more to it that you can use to battle through the team event here and through your doubles and singles. And a lot of people don't understand that. There's just so much to the whole package. And these guys have it. They do it, and they work hard, and they're rewarded.
All right. Yeah, you're exactly right, Matt. And Matt's hopefully back on track on 38. I saw a couple shots jump early for Trevor and for Matt early on 37. So they jumped just a little early. Did you see that, Aaron?
I saw that, yep.
So we'll see what happens if they start to lose that middle part of the lane there. You may see the feet and the eyes going left, but we'll see how they deal with the transition. I think, once again, I'm really firm on this. With this ice oil, I feel until you make a good shot in the 4-pin, you don't move. Or unless, you see something in front that your teammate who's playing the same line or something, he 4-pins, yeah, then it's time to move. And that's why all these guys are standing up there. They're watching intently everybody else's shot.
See the adjustment for Trevor here up on 38.
Yeah, because he went high on 37. Now I think 38 is playing a little cleaner through the fronts. 37 might be starting to get a little crispy up front. We'll see though. Yeah, because it was right about 30 feet, kind of 30, 35 feet. It started to wind up on him. So we'll see what he does here. You know, and this is what makes bowling so challenging. It's the invisible war you fight with the lanes. Good shot. Oh, yes. Boy, is that a gem.
Nicholas J's pro shot number 2 still clean. The big thing last year, obviously, only 8 opens on their way to a 34-01. Game number 1, they had 3 of them. 2 of them were pocket splits, both by Nick Heilman on length 38, but the team was able to hold them up.
Oh, wheel. Oh, all right. That's a good 9. Good 9 out there.
So, Aaron, as you said, you know, Nick Heilman with the two splits, good shots, but poor breaks. And unfortunately, in this sport, somebody has to be the low guy, and it's just a matter of the rest of the team, as you said, picking him back up. Last year, Nick shot 769 to lead the way, and this year, you know, it's his teammates so far picking him up. So that's what team play is all about. That's where it's important. And Nick, I'm sure a little bit down after those 2 shots, but he's not letting it show. He's the veteran of the group. You know, he's the homework guy, the info guy. You know, and he needs to be strong for the team, and certainly strong here in game number 2. He shook off those 2 splits and starts with a spare 4-bagger here because we're halfway through game number 2. He's looking for 5 in a row right now on lane 37.
Sizzle now. Sizzle. Oh, yes.
So that first game, those 2 bad shots, 2 bad breaks, a distant memory now. We're focused on game number 2, 1 shot at a time. These guys know what they're doing. And for those of you just joining us, we do appreciate you stopping by Bowl TV here on Friday night. It is Friday still, correct?
Friday night lights, baby.
Friday night here at the National Bowling Stadium. We're watching Nicholas J's Pro Shop and Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2, the defending regular team champ, trying to make it 2 in a row here at the Open Championship. Matt Mislevic.
Oh, boy.
Gets that one wide right, misses the headpin. So they're going to have to talk to him a little bit when he comes back. Just 1 strike through 5 frames here, but still clean, and that is important, of course.
Oh, yes.
That's a big huge start here. 11:33 in game 1, so these guys ahead of last year's pace, where they shot 34.01 to take home the team title. Got to feel pretty good, but need to stay composed as well.
Matt's going to be the key. There's no way. There's no way this team will get to 3,400 unless Matt can figure something out. The last time he was on 37, threw one. I think he was around like 10 or 11. It bit up high on him. Now that time he got deked out and said, well, I don't want to go high again. So now he just bails on it. And then he gets 6-2. So now he's looking $1.70 in the face. And the rest of the guys are striking. So this is going to be a big test of Matt's individual character to see if he can make proper adjustments, get his arm swing and tempo back in sync, and really just relax and roll the ball like he knows how to do it.
It looks like he went to the bag there as well after that ball. Not quite on the rack yet, but perhaps for next frame, making not only adjustment on the lanes, but layout surface.
Yeah, he's going to looks like a mean streak brawler with pin up above the ring. So that's going to give the ball a little more length. And it looks like it's CG. It's going to be swung out a little bit, so it's almost like the block is stacked. So that's going to give them clear the fronts, roll up, and more of a quit motion. That'll help them control the back end. So not a bad move. We'll see how it pans out. But I think he's just a little gunshot, especially after that 6 off the right. Megan just keeps striking along here.
Yeah, the companion team, Nicholas J's Pro Shop, coming back strong this game after a little bit of a letdown at the end of game number 1 with 965. They're certainly got some X's up there, and Trevor just went high on 37 for the second straight time.
37 is starting to shape up it like it might be that lane. I originally thought it was going to be 38, but I think it's going to be 37 because we just saw 2-3. Trevor went high before, and he made move, and it still went high again. Good spare. All right, good spare out there. Fill frames.
Let's see if Andy can get it back on track for Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2.
Yeah, Andy's been in the pocket pretty much all the time. It's just a matter of the carry.
There's been a few 10 pins for Andy today.
And that's just because of the larger load structure, the more 2-2s. It's making your ball, it's a lot harder for the ball to make the corner and carry versus if you're going up the lane. Hence that's why it's very important to go up the lane and not play against all that load structure. I really feel that's a big key out here. But Andy's keeping his angle straight. He's in, but he's not covering a whole lot of boards. He probably covered, he went like, I think 20 in the front, out to about 10, and then back. So, I mean, it's 10 boards out, 10 boards back. So that's certainly doable. I think when you expand your angles a little more, that's when you start to get in trouble.
Well, these guys had a rough 6th frame. Now they're going to step up on the right lane in just a minute. See if they can regroup, finish strong here in game 2. A few lanes away, coach's corner 1. Off to a pretty good start here in game 2 as well. We'll keep an eye on them as the night progresses.
Watch out for Mike Diaz. I think he's going to do pretty good. And 29-30 is a real gem of a pair. And Mike, a good left-hander. I think he can take advantage of that pair. So watch out for him. He might give us a little excitement out here too.
I believe you've had a few memories on 29-30 as well here at the National Bowling Stadium.
Yeah, I had 300 822 in 2011. So very good pair. And even 31-32, I believe I bowled team in 2010 on that pair at 780. So some great pairs next to the stage there.
Right now we're behind lanes 37 and 38 here at the National Bowling Stadium. Nicholas J's Pro Shop trying to become the first team, I believe, to win back-to-back titles. There's a reason it's so difficult. There's a lot of pressure. Nick Heilman stepping up now. It doesn't look like he's feeling any pressure here in game number 2. Looking for 6 in a row.
Oh,
nice break there.
Sweet, sassy Molassie. I like it. He's feeling it, man. That swing is free. He's rolling the ball. He's doing everything correct. Now, here's the thing. You see Nick and Matt having a little conference call there. So let's see what Matt does. That's a big shot. Got to get it back on track early.
Looks like he did make that ball change.
Very good. See how he kept his angle straighter? The late, great Billy Whaley coined the term, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, YouTube watchers. But I believe it was Billy Whaley who said straighter is greater. And then Mark Roth echoed that in 1995 at the PBA IOF Forsters when he won his last title. So he straightened up, sped up, rolled it a little more, covered less boards, and a better result. So that's the key to success out here. Oh no, Greg.
Looks like the big 4 will be their second open of the game here. Second and 2 frames after being clean through 5. This group had 3 opens in the first game. So looking to keep pace with I guess they would prefer less than last year. They had 8 opens last year on their way to a 34.01. Greg gives a pin or 2 away there as well.
Yeah, you just don't want to do that because you never know. Every pin counts. You know, I'm sure there's been a lot of years where one pin has made a difference between an eagle and a non-eagle. So you get an eagle in a watch or just a watch. But as I always tell Matty C, I'm always one watch short of a full collection. And see, now Trevor and Greg both leaked it to the right. They caught the burn that they created. Ball goes high. So now they need to move those eyes in to the wall or the shim that they pushed and play that.
That's,
just like Matt did, sorry.
But that's what you were talking about with Andy as well, as when he's been moving, keeping the angle still tighter. So definitely avoiding that.
Watch out. Okay.
The spark they created out there.
And on a side note, I just got to compliment you on the live stream about this tie. I wish we could get a shot of it. You know what? I'll put that picture up on our Facebook page right now. If you want to see Aaron's really cool retro gold Brunswick Billy the Bowler tie, check out my Facebook page and you will get to see it. It is very cool.
It's a gift from my old man back home in Highland, Indiana. I'm sure he's possibly tuning in. It's a little late back there now, but that's all right. It was a Christmas present a few years ago. Gem he found on eBay.
Worth every penny, too.
I agree. I warned in support of the Nicholas J's teams. 9 out of the 10 of them throwing Brunswick or DV8, so a little inspiration, if you will. If they come out with a 900 Global tie, be sure to wear that. You take to the lanes later this, or about a month from now, right?
Yeah, April 30th, May 1st, so I'm going to be looking forward to it. The waiting is the hardest part. Like, I just sit here and drool every day. I just like, let me out. I just want to get out there and get it over with.
Well, of course, as we get ready for frame number 8 here, we'll talk about preparation a little bit. Matt, you have the opportunity to be the featured coach downstairs at the 900 Global Showcase lanes, but of course the opportunity also to use those lanes to help you get ready for your team event. And you and your whole team can have a practice session down there, just like Nick Heilman and his team, and it helped Nick to a 7-bagger there after a spare to start. But for $100, your whole team can get down there and practice for 1 hour to work on strategy and ball stuff, and as you did with them today, some ball surfaces. For an extra $100, Matt McNeel will help you out, give you some tips along the way. So for $100 or $200 divided by 10, that's a pretty good investment to get a good look at the team pattern here and what it's going to take to succeed. And then if you want to just have a little bit of fun too, there's 2 side events going on downstairs on the showcase lanes as well. The 900 Global 2-game challenge, and that's exactly what it sounds like, 2-game challenge. So quick opportunity to win some prize money. There's daily and year-long payouts there. And then a really fun Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza presented by 900 Global, where you and 2 teammates can go out there. You each get to bowl 3 frames in each game, and you get to select who's going to bowl the 10th frame. So if you want to loosen up, have a good time, there's 2 opportunities to win some prize money and just get loose when you get to Reno. And if you'd like to bowl for free at the 2-game event, all you have to do is go to mybowlingvacation.com, book 3 room nights, and you get a free entry. It's as easy as that. You go bowl the 2-game event, get loose, get a couple bucks in your pocket, and then come on up to the Open Championships and get it done.
Yeah, that's a free 40 cones. 40 cones on that entry there, so can't say no to that. And yeah, preparation. I mean, anybody who comes down to the showcase lanes gets me for an hour. I go through everybody's bag. I'll talk drillings, layouts, surfaces, cores, lane play, mental, anything that people can come up with. I've fielded sports bets, anything at all. And you get me for the hour. And a lot of great results so far. A lot of guys have been really taking advantage of it and finding it to be a great team thing. And I'm hearing a lot of, we're going to do this every year. We learned a ton. Thank you. You know, a lot of positive things coming out of it. And now we're starting to see the changes, Aaron and Matt. The guys are moving left. They're moving the eyes left. We saw Matt go to more ball, playing straighter, going a little more speed. Now Trevor, who had just come in high on 37, he moves left. He goes to a ball that's a little stronger in the mid so he can open up the lane. Let's see if Andy can bring it down for a star frame.
Second time we've seen Andy reset. Make sure everything's right up there. Don't want to, as you said earlier, every pin counts, every shot counts, and if there's anything out there that may not feel right, you got to be sure to step back, reset, put forth your best effort.
Mills looking for a three-bagger here up on 37.
Sit. Oh. That was a big shot. That's a 21 pin ouch. It's a good shot though. Good effort.
Their companion team striking it up here as well in game number 2.
How about Nick Heilman? Look at this guy. $190, possible $290. You want to talk about mental toughness? Wow. Going from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Yeah, he certainly didn't let those two pocket splits towards the end of game 1 on 38 derail him. He bounced right back. As we talked about earlier, he's kind of the leader of this group here, and as the elder statesman, I'm not even sure how old Nick is, but this is a very young group here.
Sit. Oh.
That going to get it?
That needed to get up. I thought that was going to go high.
But yeah, he certainly bounced back strong here, and as the leadoff man, that's you can't bring the emotions with you when you're having a team. That's a big thing, you see at the collegiate level as well as high school. It's the leadoff man's kind of a consistent guy, kind of count on him to mark and kind of show everybody the way, and Nick is the epitome of that.
I agree. Now, I thought his last shot was going to buck a little on him, but I think he hit that shim, so it fizzled out a little bit. But at least for this game, he's down on that lane. Now he can get back to 37. Hopefully he's a little more comfortable there. And hopefully he can put a three-bagger together for a fine 269. Nothing could be finer than a 269er, as I always say.
It's not too shabby.
Come on, Matty. Yes, sir. Nice shot.
He's bounced back very nicely after a rough start to game number 2 here.
Yeah, and I think Nick just said, hey, don't give it away. Straighten up those angles. Go to the whip. Play to your natural game. You like to throw it harder. You like to, give it a little extra. Move in, straighten up the eyes, and just go down at them. Go to the whip.
Did you happen to notice the pace of play on this pair as well? These guys don't mess around. They get up there, they throw their shots. They're ready when it's their turn. There's nothing to really think about. They've talked through it. They know what they're doing. They get up there, they throw a good shot. And at this pace, they're going to end up being the first ones done on the whole squad.
And that's a testament. I know in years past when I've done extremely well, it seems like everything slows down. Like I'm waiting more, I'm taking my time more. These guys, the exact opposite. They're up there, boom, boom, ready to play, make that good shot, come back, high fives. And,
Looks like Greg made a ball change there. I'm not sure if he made it after the big 4 in the 7th, but
yeah, I believe he did. He struck on 37. He went to a siege. He struck on 37 with it. He should have struck on 38. That was a fine shot. All right. So Aaron, the numbers guy, let's. What do we got for a possible score out here as we close in on the 10th?
Well, we'll wait and see how Trevor and Andy finish up. But
Okay.
there's already spares going into the 10th. Give you 50 with all 3 strikes. 1 strike is 60, and multiple strikes is 90. So between Nick, Matt, and Greg, they already have 190 possible out there.
Oh no, another one. That's Greg could have a double. Trevor could have a double. That's just getting hosed. Oh,
Trevor lucky to get the 10 out there, leave just the 7, however. So he's got to feel good about that break at least.
Yeah, that's the glass is half full way to look at it. Oh boy, okay, good cover. That was a good shot. Good shot there. You know, I really haven't seen a whole lot of good breaks for these guys. You know, I mean, we've seen 8s, 9s, 7-10, 4-9, slashers, wraps, carry out there. Nice shot.
They're
Andy.
saving it all for a big dramatic finale as
I
they
hope so.
surge into the lead.
I hope so. They're owed at least 8 breaks by my calculations. At least 8. Hopefully they get them back tonight to take over the team lead. They might end up seeing some of those in singles and doubles too. But hopefully they get paid those breaks back tonight.
Well, you mentioned singles and doubles. It's a day away. It's a whole nother lane condition. So for the first time in history, we'll have 2 separate lane conditions. So that pattern, 39 feet compared to the 41-foot team pattern. And if they wanted an opportunity to see that pattern ahead of time, they could bowl in the Bowlers Journal Championships on the high side of the National Bowling Stadium, lane 69 through 78. And a chance to win some prize money and bowl a couple games on the doubles and singles pattern to get comfortable.
Carry. Oh.
Of course, the team event on the line right now, but the big picture, as we talked about many times, team all events. A huge number they're looking at there. So if anything, they want to get a good head start towards that, and they'll come back tomorrow for doubles and singles, and a little bit different format there as well. There's going to be 6 on a pair compared to 4 in the past, and they'll bowl all 6 games on the same pair, so they'll have an opportunity to work together as a team to try to break that oil pattern down for the good of the whole group, and similar to the team event strategy, and try to break it down and find success there. But no doubt, that's a distant thought from their minds right now as they're looking at another solid effort here in Game 2.
I think Nick needs to make a ball change. I'm seeing he's throwing that the black and red Nexus pinned down, so it's going to read a little sooner. I think it just needs, I think he needs to go with something that's going to give him a little more shape on the back end to carry a little better. But,
I saw him talking to his teammates.
Ooh, now that one rolled good.
So
Yeah, that rolled good. I think he just did like a 3 and 2. Looked like he moved a little left with the feet. Maybe just one with the eyes. But now that one read much, much better.
Mislovic now stepping up with a 3-bagger, looking for a big finish here.
Big shot here. Wheel, carry, yes.
very nice.
Oh yeah.
Saying they are on. They can reach what they shot last game still. With the last strikes, they'll end up, or striking out, they'll end up right around 1150.
.224. Sorry. Andy was asking us for some numbers here. Little right. Come on now. Good shot.
And I know this game I've been seeing the Crosse teams actually had a few pocket 710s on that. I'm not sure if they were all pocket, but 710s on 37. So
yeah,
it seems to be kind of lingering around here a little bit.
Well, you got those movers and shakers. And you got Thomas York, he's wheeling and dealing. A couple other guys are kind of playing around, but at least he got the first one. That was the big stride for Matt. At least he got to the first one. So that puts him 190?
2-0.
2-0. Okay, that was big.
Yeah,
So now at least
halfway through that game right there, there's no way that looked like a 205, and he made a ball change and threw 4 big strikes, and came away with 205. So they got to feel really good about that effort.
yeah, that was a big change. And 4 huge shots. And you know, that shot in the 11th was really good. That was a good pitch. And you know, once again, just got hosed. I mean, that's a pretty good shot. I liked it. Let's see what Greg does here. Now, he's been sniffing. Let's see if he gets rewarded. Oh boy. And you just see that ball just rev right up, probably about 10 feet past the arrows. You knew it was going high. Oh.
It's his second big 4 of game number 2 here.
And in the worst possible place, 10th frame.
We saw this last game. Nick Heilman had a 4-9 in the 10th, and everyone rallied around him. Let's see if Trevor and Andy can pick him up, and still said that they're still in a good shape to have a nice game here, but obviously they want to build up, get as high over the number as they can.
Yeah. So, Aaron, the numbers guy, what can they get to if they go sheet?
Trevor can get 50, Andy can get 60, so 110. So 11-12 is still out there for him. So
oh, that's good. Good shape, yeah.
So plus 235 after 2, still out there.
That's good shape. That's
245, excuse me.
The number they're chasing, of course, 33.58, breakpoint Pro Shop 2. And if they're going to make the top 5, 32.88 is the number.
We were just informed that Nick Heilman, as the old guy of the group, 30 years old.
Old Man
by
River.
unnamed source. So Matt, you're the elder statesman of everyone behind 37 and 8 here. How does that make you feel, Mr. Cannizzaro?
I appreciate that. Thanks for pointing that out.
Trevor back on track. Great shot there, especially after getting hosed in the 9th. I mean, Greg got hosed in the 9th. Trevor got hosed in the 9th. Oh. Matt gets hosed in the 11th. I hope these guys really get some good breaks next game because they're due. They've been making good shots.
Big double in the 10th here for Yonan. That's huge, of course. You want to always fill the 10th when you can, so no doubt Andy Mills also looking for that opportunity and very close behind Yonan, trying to read that ball reaction to see if any moves need to be made here as he steps up for his 10th frame in just a minute.
Good ball change there. Great ball change. So now I think most of the guys can kind of get on top of Matt and Trevor now. And they've really played them right. And they've pushed that oil to the left, built that wall up in front of the hole. I think they start playing it now. And that hopefully will yield dividends.
It's like Mills with his signature finish work there. Great shot, certainly.
Now he's got the little move and groove up there on the approach. I like that. Kind of free-spirited. I like it.
So he's the energy of the group, no doubt. Him and Yonan Nick Heilman, very composed up there. Gets his shot, gets his strike, and steps away. So everybody has a role, and every team is like that.
Crosse team put together a very nice set here, or second game, I should say.
Matt Kruger skipping along to 240. Oh, that was labeled.
That's how great teams respond. Picking up Greg Peasel there after a errant shot, leaving the big 4. They've thrown 5 out of, possibly 6 out of 6 to finish up the game, get over that 1100 number, and we're right on pace to take a run at 33:58.
Our team leaders 11:28, 11:24, 11:06 for 33:58, and these guys right there with him, on pace for sure.
Now I think in the back of your head you're thinking, get to 34. I really feel at least if you can get to 34, you put up that mental barrier on all the other teams coming, because it's 3,400. You know, it's just that little extra. You know, 3,390. Oh well, we can get that 3,400. Oh, that's a lot of pins.
Well, it took 34.73 last time we were here in 2011. A handful of 3,400s that year. And this year's pattern not too different at 41 feet. Pretty similar to 2011. Big equalizer, of course, the new Kegel Ice Oil. Simply, it just doesn't break down. That's the design of it. It's supposed to hold up longer, keep you from moving as much. Speaking of moving, these guys don't waste any time moving into game number 3. Heilman already up on the approach. 1 strike in the books. They're fired up. 22:45 after 2, and they're ready here for game number 3 already.
Certainly pacing this squad as well. Only 2 pairs in the 3rd game, and that other pair has a bowler missing, so they're making it up by bowling quick, bowling focused, and striking a lot.
The mental attitude on the pair has really gone into attack mode. The companion teams, they're fired up. They had a great game. These guys finished strong to grind out 11-1. So the mental attitude has picked up. I really feel they're on the attack. They're not on the defensive. They're eager for pins. They put themselves in a great spot to have a chance. In this last game, I would not be surprised seeing 1,200.
I believe they would be the first team to reach the 1,200 mark. We had a few teams come close, but you're referring to the 3,400 mark for the team series. They are 11:55 away. They haven't reached that yet, but they're off to a strong start here in game number 3, and who knows, 1,200 could put a lot of distance between them and the 33:58 sitting in second right now. So
certainly, and that's a big number to put up early in the tournament. Like I said, going back to all the teams, they know the number. They got it in the back of their heads. If you can put up that sizable number, it almost mentally defeats people and stops them from getting that score. These guys now have all moved in. They're all playing on their own shim that they created the first 2 games. And now it's time to load up the U-Haul and move on up that scoreboard. It's moving time, Mr. Aaron.
It certainly is, Mr. McNeel. Mandy McUnderscore joining us today.
Good shot.
And that's the way to start game number 3. Everybody strikes.
With the beer frame.
Beer frame a few frames early.
That's right. That's a good quip. I like that. Good job.
I've been listening long enough. It's rubbing off a little bit. So.
Well, they're having fun down there. We got to have some fun here up in the booth.
I agree completely, and we certainly are. It's been flying by. Old saying, time flies when you're having fun, and watching these guys bowl are certainly entertaining.
Well, and thankfully, Big Brother back home in Arlington hasn't given me the hook yet, so I appreciate that. Hats off to you, Mr. Lucas Wiseman. Thanks for letting me be on the live stream here.
All right, a few pairs to our left. Looks like Mike Diaz's group has fallen off a little bit after game one. Still can have a decent score out there, but I don't think they're going to have enough to reach 1,100. So Nicholas J's putting a little more space in between them and the group from Colorado.
Yeah, I think Mike's really the only guy cruising along. A couple guys on the companion team, but they had a slow start. So I think really all eyes are on the men in neon green. And this is the leader right here. Now you watch him, he's going to stay right in between the indicators, down lane, a little right. Oh, and it came back.
And we got a lot of celebrities in this chat room tonight as well, so a lot of folks tuning in. We do appreciate it. Once again, Matt Cannizzaro, Aaron Smith, and Matt McNeel live at the National Bowling Stadium watching Nicholas J's Pro Shop trying to become the first team to win back-to-back regular team titles. Just a quick shout out to Scott Pohl up in Minnesota. Gary Brown down at headquarters for USBC watching some of his collegiate players try to get it done here in Reno. Mike Larson, appreciate the update on the Gator game. Go Gators.
And Scott Pohl, a great friend of mine, taught me a lot in the pro shop business. Got to work for Scott. Multiple medals on Team USA. Current high roller champion, reigning, and good friend of mine, great friend of mine, and great bowler as well. And he'll be out here with Mike Rose, Rob Gottschall, and a couple other talented bowlers. Their name escapes me right now, but they got a good crew coming out here too.
We'll have the opportunity to see those gentlemen live on bowl.com or Bowl TV as well. We'll be live streaming.
Their doubles and singles on April 23rd is the date.
That's right.
Also, some other top team players in the chat room as well. Ronnie Horton will be here with the Armstrong printing crew. They're looking for their first win, but a couple of two-time champs in here tonight as well. Brad Core and Tim Rice, Bowler's Edge Pro Shop from Neenah, Wisconsin. They are a part of the last 4 team titles that have gone back to the Badger State. 2003 and 2010 team champs. So thanks everybody for joining us. And of course, if you're curious about our other team making a run here, Coach's Corner, you can check that out on your X Bowling app on your iPhone or Android device, or on xbowling.com. You can check the live scoring feature. Don't miss that. You can check out any pair in the house, any bowler outside of the 2 lanes that we're watching, of course. So anytime you know somebody who's here at the National Bowling Stadium for the Open Championships and also the Women's Championships, which kicks off April 12th, you can check that out, xbowling.com, or the X Bowling Tournament Edition app on your smartphone. So check that out now.
Can I interject, Matty? X Bowling still has that X Bowling contest with a potential $50,000 if you get all the strikes in the right spot.
Yep, the X Bowling 90 frame X game. So
yes,
check that out as well. You sign up for that. It's a cool little feature product here through that X Bowling app. You just have to strike in the right frames and you could be $50,000 richer. It's easy as that. So you can check that out also on xbowling.com or on your app on your mobile device. Very nice drop in there.
And it's a free app too, so it doesn't cost you anything to download or anything like that.
This is a very cool feature. During our first live stream this year, we were down on 9 and 10 watching the Legend of Dung Ho out of California compete, and we got word that there were throughout the day a front 7, front 8, front 9 down on the high end here at the stadium. We were able to keep track, even though we couldn't see the scoreboards that far away. We were able to keep track of those folks making the run at perfection, and so that's a very cool feature and makes our job a little bit easier when we're at one end of the house or the other.
The National Bowling Stadium, as they say, the Taj Mahal of 10 pins upstairs here on the 4th floor. 78 lanes, Right now we're using 64 of them for the USBC Open Championships. The 10 on the high end being used for the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC. Nice little side action going on here inside the building. Then, of course, downstairs, 10 brand new 900 Global Showcase lanes. The opportunity for a team practice session, a 2-game side event, the 900 Global 2-Game Challenge, or a very cool team-oriented Baker event. So if you want a little bit of taste of college bowling, Mr. McNeel, before you get out there, the Who's Got the Look Baker Bonanza. So in that event, you bowl 5 Baker games, 3 of you go out there, 3 frames each, and then you get to pick who bowls the 10th frame. So a little bit of everything here. You can put on your bowling shoes early in the day and spend all day long bowling all these different events inside one building. Don't need a car, don't have to go anywhere. It's all happening right here in downtown Reno.
And that's great. Bowlers Journal is up like 300%. They're killing them for entries. A lot of Baker entries, a lot of 2-gamer entries. The daily pays are always pretty good. And the Baker Bonanza, it's a bonanza. It's fun. I mean, you could call walking 2 miles in the rain without an umbrella a bonanza, and you'd still have fun, just because you called it a bonanza.
You can't argue facts there, man.
Well, point being, of course, there's just so much to do, so much going on here in downtown Reno, inside the National Bowling Stadium, and of course, in just a few days, right downtown, down the street, about 3 miles, the USBC Women's Championships will kick off April 12th through July 1st. So all of the ladies coming to town as well. Please come by the National Bowling Stadium, bowl in our side events. There's so much going on, something for everybody, all skill levels, all ages. And if you just want to watch some bowling or just come and say hello to Aaron Smith, feel free to do so. We'll be here. The Open Championships kicked off March 1st. We'll be here all the way until July 7th. So 125 days of excitement. And here we are, less than a month in, and we're watching our defending champion, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2, very close to getting back on top of the leaderboard here in 2013. It's hard to do. Matt, you understand that more than anybody in this booth right now, of course. You came in here in 2011 as the defending champion in all events and came within really a few shots of getting back on top. Just some transitions, some ball things going on there, just maybe not the right choice at the right time as it came down to it, but you learned a lot from that, of course. I think more than anything, you went on to finish 3rd in your title defense coming back, but 1 year later, back on top again. I know everything you learned in 2011. We watched it happen. We watched singles. We watched things kind of go a little bit south there at the very end, and when it looked the same way in 2012, how did you use that experience from 11, even though you didn't win? What did you learn and how did you use it? And what can we say? How can we apply that to these guys here as they struggle here early in Game 3, but look to get back on top?
Well, you just get used to the pressure. Once you've experienced something before, next time around you're more prepared for it, and that goes with anything. Like you go to a tournament at a place you never bowled before, you figure out the different things about different pairs, or this house plays this way. But it's all experience, and dealing with that pressure that I felt in 2011, it was a new experience for me. And so when it came down to it, it was harder for me to perform and put that aside and focus on the task at hand. Then I get back into 2012, I get on an extremely difficult pair. I go from penthouse to outhouse, really, you go from 850 to 150 start, and that Eagles, the record's out of the books, the Eagles slipping away, but I used the learning experience, the pressure. I was able to deal with it, grind through, figure those 2 lanes out, and make good shots and survive with a 212 that last game to get to 2200, and that eventually was the winning score. So that was the big thing, is that I'd felt that pressure before, and I was a lot more prepared when I felt it. And these guys are going through what I went through in 2011. They're getting to a spot, especially it's coming down to crunch time now, where they have to start performing. It's, the squeeze is is kind of wrapping around them, where they have to do something now. They don't have more games. So I believe that these guys are really going through what I went through in 2011, and the heart rate goes up. The lane seems, your line seems about as wide as a gnat out there, and so it gets harder and harder to have a free arm swing and make good shots.
Well, these guys got off to a spectacular start here for any team so far this year. 11-33, 11-12 to put themselves in position at 2 in a row. And of course, now it's all the pressure coming up. Nick Heilman just threw a good shot. That's the Paralyzer 5. There's a 4-pin for Mislovic. So the pins are going to have to cooperate, but as you said, it gets to a point now where maybe you're not throwing the best shots you can. Maybe you're grabbing it at the bottom or not getting it enough. And you just have to remember back, a game and a half ago when things were going well, things were smooth, the arm string was loose. You got to get back to that place. You can't make the ball hook. You can't force it into the pocket. You just have to throw good shots. We know they can do it. Their last 5 games at the Open Championships have been over 1,100, and that's very hard to do. And there's no reason that they cannot get to the lead. They just need to buckle down at this point and do what they're good at. And maybe this is where that experience comes into play. Heilman, the veteran of the group, at 10 years. Mislovic, 6 years. Andy Mills, number 5. And Yonan and Piesel both going for just the 3rd time. So, all of these things happening in one night, the awards, the pressure, the banner, the champion, just you name it. And now they're in position to do something nobody's ever done. And they have to get to that place where they're comfortable and support each other and throw good shots.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And looking at how they're playing the lanes, I think some guys are just feeding it a little too far right. The straighter guys, Nick Heilman, Piesel was a little better that shot. But I really think now is the time where they need to be no right of 10. They need to be in between the indicators. Every time they're going to get it right at 10 now, they're going to hit that transition that they've already created, and the ball's going to go high. So they really need to keep it in the wall of oil that they pushed in front of the pocket right around 10, 11, 12, 13. They need to get it into the pocket and let it sit there and just let it roll. So we'll see if they can do that. But Andy Mills, front 3, the best look of them all, he's going to carry this team to 3,400 if it's going to happen.
Well, while we have this chance, let's hear from Eric Pearson, our lane guy extraordinaire, and a Wisconsinner himself. So he knows a little something about bowling in Wisconsin, history of bowling in Wisconsin, and now, of course, what we're seeing on the lane. So we'll have Eric here in just a second. All right, so Eric on the headset. Matt McNeel's going to step aside for just a few minutes. Eric, we're talking Wisconsin a little bit. Of course, a ton of history. You know about it. You've been there for many, many decades yourself. So you've lived through it. You understand, what these guys accomplished, especially as young as they are. But now we're at a point where they had a huge start today, 11-33, 11-12. Their last 5 games over 1,100. But now the reality of taking the lead again it's setting in, I think. We're talking lane transition, we're talking the pressure, the inexperience that they might have being youngsters. But you've been watching tonight. What are you seeing at this point?
Yeah, I got here when they first started. Didn't see much of practice. Actually came back to work to pick up my wife here. She works for the photo vendor, and decided to hang around, watch the first game, and they started out hot, so decided to stay. First game looked like they were fairly squared up on the lane, throwing quite a bit of surface. A lot of balls were picking up real early, but they were stopping at the right spot on the back end. I saw a lot of trip 4-pins and balls that looked like they were high enough to leave a split, but they actually struck. So from there, they've just started to kind of creep into the left a little bit. There's definitely some bounce area out there. Saw that a little bit the second game. And now maybe it's just a matter that they've reached different angles. Maybe the adjustments they made in the first game and the second game have now changed, and they haven't quite figured out what they need to do here to keep up with it. I think, with all the 1100 games, I'm actually more amazed that that's how they bowled last year. The pattern was much flatter, a lot more hook. So I'm more impressed with the 1100 games last year. This year I kind of expect this. I think most of your strong teams are going to come out here and shoot, 1080s, 1090s, 1130s. I think that's going to be pretty commonplace. What I'm noticing is it's much easier to throw two, doubles, 3-baggers, 4-baggers, and then on top of that have even 2 or 3 bowlers on the team with those strings of strikes. So your 220s, 230, 240 games are much more commonplace than, say, last year, where 2-0, 2-10, 220 was a good game. So, but they're definitely showing they can hit them on years where they're flatter and they hook, and they're a little bit tighter this year and longer.
Well, now these guys, their 2 keys last year were the fact that they were so strong at playing the lane together. They played them all in the same place. They broke them down right. They created the area they needed, and they were relaxed. They were wide open by the time they got done with the night. Even though their big game was game 2, they set it up for a solid game 3, and again, perhaps experience and nerves played a part in, their finish there, but came away with the title. This year, they're still, they worked hard at the team play and the strategy, breaking them down. Because of the new oil, maybe they're not going to break down as much, but I think at this point they're just not throwing great shots, and I think that's as simple as that. I mean, they're in game 3, they have a huge number, and we've seen some pretty poor shots here halfway through game 3.
Yeah, and maybe last year when they had this kind of a start, they were looking at putting up a number that other teams were going to say, I don't think our team can shoot that. Right now they're sitting here probably thinking every good team is going to do this, so we better go out and get another 1100, 1150 or more. So you don't shoot 1150 without a lot of striking. So I'm not saying it's nerves. I would think they're going to handle that well. It's just, have they reached a point where the lanes have transitioned enough where not 4 or 5 of them are real comfortable. A couple of them might not feel like their ball motions is quite as good as it needs to be to go out and shoot that 220, 230. So definitely Nick and Andy have been the horses up to this point, and Andy's still killing them here. So, if you're the teammate and you look up there in the 6th or 7th frame and he's still got all of them, Jinx. You're still looking up going, he still strikes out. He's 80 over. We need, what do they need, like 11-15 to take the lead?
Yeah, they need 11-13 to tie, 11-14 to get it themselves.
If you need 11-15 and you got one guy going at 260 or 270, the rest of the guys don't need a whole lot. So I can't see why they'd be having nerves at this point, unless they're trying to get to a bigger number than they need to. Maybe they feel like they have to shoot 1130 or 1150. Maybe their mindset isn't, let's shoot that 1113 and take the lead. Well, what good is that going to do us, because that score might finish 20th. We need to not only get the lead, we need to get the lead plus 50. But you'd have to ask them that.
That was one of the things we were talking about earlier. Last year they bowled, I believe, March 5th. And if I want to recall, I think there might have only been a few teams who reached 3,000, and they put up a 3,400. This year they're looking at 3,358, and certainly 1,100 is very possible with this group. But knowing you need a number versus posting a number has got to be a completely different mindset for them.
Yeah, and I'm just going to guess, but I bet if they do well here, take the lead, and you're going to interview them, I bet that's what they're going to say. It's not that they were nervous about taking the lead. It's, in our minds, we wanted to take the lead plus another 40, 50, 60 pins to outdistance ourselves so that the other really good teams that are coming in yet have a much bigger number to stare at when they put their shoes on.
Well, these guys certainly proved something last year coming in here as youngsters and taking the title back to Wisconsin. And you can't help but think there's a little bit of pressure to prove again that it wasn't just a flash in the pan, one-time thing, that they are here to stay. But so many different factors coming into tonight, and they're certainly handling it well to this point.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the mentality in Wisconsin, team bowling. It's a lot of history, a lot of past champions, really solid teams from all over the state, obviously, especially the Milwaukee area. So it's just kind of built in there. I've always said that. But you also have a bunch of kids here that came up, I'm sure, in very strong junior programs, both for college teams. They understand the whole concept of being a team and their ability to communicate. So, you know, it's not all just get 5 good bowlers together out and go throw the ball. So, but this really makes me wonder what we're going to see when some of the, and I don't mean to downplay that they're not a good team, but when some of the more powerhouse teams that do have a big history here with numerous titles or top 10 finishes come out, it's going to be real interesting to see what happens.
Well, you still have to throw the good shots and fill the frames, and that's really what these guys did last year. They filled them up, and this time a couple of holes along the way, giving away some count here and there, but you know, they're looking pretty strong here in the 6th frame here in Game 3. So it's going to be an exciting finish, no doubt. They need 11-13 to tie, 11-14 to have the lead all themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but about every 5 or 6 frames, I kind of feel like, you know, here they go. Like, they started out on fire. The end of that first game in the 8th and 9th frame, it kind of looked like, hey, they're starting to lose it. And then all of a sudden they put up a pretty decent 10th frame, had a solid game, and started the 2nd game very strong. I was almost anticipating if they would have finished the first game weak, they were going to continue to struggle for maybe 2 or 3 frames in the 2nd game, but they turned it around quick. And after 2 or 3 frames the 2nd game, I said, uh-oh, here we go. They might shoot 12-30. And all of a sudden things turned around. And it's almost like the same things happened here. They get it going, but not quite. But like I said, you look at the board again, maybe not quite as many strikes, and they definitely have more opens. But, you know, 3-baggers, 4-baggers, much more commonplace on the scoreboard this year. So we're going to see some just real solid numbers.
So they've opened 4 times already here in game number 3. They only had 6 through the first 2 games.
The weirdest thing I've seen while watching, and I want to say that it almost looks like there's a little funny carry because I've seen at least 4 blower 7-10s. But then if you're going to say carry's bad on this pair, well then how are they shooting all these strings of strikes? It's almost like certain ball motions are just starting and stopping a little too quick. But in the first game, that's exactly what they needed. And I also think it helped them square up on the outside, get the ball to stop. So not only were they striking and putting up a good number, but they were breaking down the pattern a little bit in that area. You know, I think one of the misconceptions is that we have some type of a magical oil on the lanes this year. And all it is a newer oil that's just going to hold up a little bit longer, make your transition seem a little normal. And I think you see that after all this bowling, there's still guys hitting 12 board. You know, it's not that you can't break it down or change it a little bit. It's just that process is a little slower. And then when you move, well, it's going to take a little longer to break that area down. And when you move, it's going to take a little longer. So over the course of time, it's doing exactly what we said it would. It's going to hold up better than some of the oils we used in past years. It's going to help moves make more sense. And ultimately, when the lane condition stays more stable longer, you're going to have better scores. So
we're hoping for some bigger scores here. I think Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 trying to come on strong here in the back half of game number 3. The big double from Mislovic there. Again, he struggled last game in the first half and came on strong at the end for 2-0. Nick Heilman struggling here in game 3 after shooting 193 in the opener and big 250 in game 2. He's having trouble finding the pocket here in game 3. He needs to get lined up, lead this team into the 10th frame. Right now we're halfway through frame 7, and they need to pile on some strike. Peasel now working on a 3-bagger, trying to make it 4 in a row to get that momentum, and he does.
Yeah, the more Greg can keep his angles straighter and not have to make the ball go too far to the right, the better. I've watched him bowl many years, scholarship tournaments and youth events and stuff. And he's very good going up the lane, and as he starts to creep in, he's better if he can keep his angles straighter. I think some of the trouble he got into earlier, he was moving left and trying to throw the ball a little more to the right, so you saw him leave some flat 10 pins. He got the ball to the dry early a couple times. It went high on him. But right now, whatever he's done is, I think he's found the answer here to maybe not strike out, but I think he's going to throw another double or turkey here before we're done.
That's one of the things Matt McNeel was talking about when he was on with us earlier, specifically with Andy Mills starting a little bit deeper than everyone else. He was still keeping his angles fairly tight, even though he was, maybe 5-6 boards further left of everyone else.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but we just see it happen on more competitive patterns. I know we see it through CATS data, but majority of the time when you're on the tougher stuff, if you can keep your launch angles narrowed down in the front, it helps you open up angles at the break point. When you're that kind of spray the ball to the right, pull it to the left, obviously, that's where your break point area narrows. So I always call it the V and the reverse V. Tight angles in the front, V's, and opens it up down the lane, and vice versa. If the angles in the front are too wide open, then it narrows down the lane. It almost looked like towards the end of the first game where even though they were playing different lines, they were getting the ball to a similar spot, and that little window just seemed to open up. And I said, now that they're all going to be playing maybe a different line from lay down through the arrows, they have room in the mid lane. You could see balls that got to the right, and they picked up. And those balls, faced up, and they got high flush or a little bit light. And at that point in time, I think there was enough back ends where they were carrying, and you were seeing a few more strings of strikes, and now they've moved in, and they're still striking here. And I would think once your angles change in the front, you create a little bit of hold area.
There's a huge shot from Heilman right there.
The key is the carry, obviously, and certain balls get fed out to the right. They face the pocket, and if they don't get around the corner, they're a 10-pin or a light 7-pin. And the guys that got the right motion not only carry that half hit, flush hit, but they rip the rack when they're light. And I think that's pretty much what you've seen Andy have most of the day. I think Matt's ball speed's just a little touchy tonight. Every once in a while, just a little bit quick, and he usually backs that up with a little bit softer shot, and he gets it into the lane a little bit earlier, and the next ball goes high. So we'll see what happens. But again, it's fun to watch that even though the lanes seem very playable and scores are high, again, you see a couple guys that were really bowling well earlier, and all of a sudden the lanes change. They lose their look, but another player on the team that wasn't bowling so well finds a look. So I think it goes back to showing you how hard it is to walk away from this tournament with a title. You know, regardless of the score, to beat all the other teams and put it all together as 5 people. Major accomplishment to win the Eagle here.
These guys are certainly defending their very first title as valiantly as they can, and still in position to make a run here at the top of the leaderboard, but certainly that 4-6-7 by Greg Piesel is about to bounce back from that and hold them up, which they've been doing fairly well as a team. The first game, Nick Heilman started off the 10th frame with a 4-9 split, and his teammates backed him up with a very strong 10th frame. Same thing last game. At the end, Greg Piesel went big 4, and Trevor and Andy through the last 6 to carry him. So they've certainly been holding each other up here.
Yeah, Trevor's been throwing it really good the whole night.
Nice little break there. Gets the 4 to go late, leaves just the 6. So they've definitely got some work to do. They need to pile it on here. The 11-13, the number they need for a tie of the top spot. 33-58, the number on top. And as you know, you can't win if you don't leave in the lead. So if they're going to become the first team to win back-to-back team titles, it's time to start striking, guys.
And like I said a little bit earlier, it's to me it's amazing that they didn't. I thought they were going to have a much higher score of the second game. So there is definitely some transitioning happening where, you know, somebody loses their look, somebody else finds it. It kind of goes back and forth. Or like Aaron, you said, maybe there's been a few more bad shots in the mix than we're capable of seeing. But again, that you have to ask the players.
Well, we'll get to chat with them as soon as they're done here, regardless of what happens, and we'll have the recap for you on bowl.com, all that and much more. Just go to the Open Championships page. You can check out all the scores, the highlights, pictures, what's leading at the Bowlers Journal or at the side events downstairs. You name it, it's there, as well as links to our xbowling.com. You can go check out the 90-frame X game or some live scoring. You name it, it's all on the Open Championships page on bowl.com. And if you're just joining us, once again, Matt Canizaro, Aaron Smith, and now Eric Pearson in the booth here behind lanes 37 and 38. Game 3 of this title defense for Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2 at the 2013 USBC Open Championships. And if you missed any of the broadcasts, you want to check it out, you can find the recording on our YouTube page on bowl.com, or our YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe to that, and you'll get all the updates of all the upcoming live streams as well. And you can always find us on Twitter or Facebook also. We're all over the place, Eric Pearson, and pretty soon we'll be on all these different websites talking about the Women's Championships about to kick off across town at the Reno Sparks Convention Center on April 12th. What do you know about that?
I know 2 weeks from tonight we have opening ceremonies and get our first squad started for the Women's Championships. The lanes are all constructed, everything's in there. Just a couple weeks here of painting and putting in carpeting and putting on the details to fix the place up in preparation for the ladies. As far as the lanes go, everything's done. And we will have lane machines here in a week, and we'll begin our testing there and get everything set up, have some shakedowns, ring out the pin setters, test the scoring, and hopefully in 2 weeks, away we go.
All right, so 81 days of women's championships competition about to kick off April 12th to July 1st, and then we're here at the Open Championships. Started things off on March 1st. We'll be here until July 7th, and we're just a handful of broadcasts in. Almost 24 on the schedule for this year, and Trevor Yonan there trying to make a highlight reel for this year's live streams. Big shot there in the 9th frame to set up the 10th for him. Aaron Smith's going to do some math as we wind down the frames here.
So they're certainly going to have their work cut out for them in the 10th, but
yeah, I think a good one to talk to about the transition could be Megan, because she was throwing the ball really well. She has all night, but had a very direct line for first game and well into the second game, and now she's kind of migrated a little farther left than I would have anticipated, so there's a chance that she started creeping in. She started catching some of the angles that the other guys had already broken down, so if anybody gets a true feel for the transition, she might be one to talk to, because she's the one that's probably had to move the most from where she started.
all right, with that spare, that gives Nicholas J's Pro Shop number 2 a chance to add 290 to their score in the 10th frame, so that would be 11:06, I believe.
Not enough. Well,
so that's just my quick math here. We'll, as it gets closer, but looks like they may fall just short of the number.
290 you said, right? That's what I get.
290, yep. All 15 strikes here, so still a very valiant effort on their part in their title defense here.
Heilman working on a double, stepping up in the 10th right now. Got that one a little bit right, it just never read. Leaves the bucket.
And as much as I'm sure they're looking to come back here and defend their title, you know, they're certainly in a great spot for team all events. They'll have to put up a big number tomorrow, but they have set themselves up for a chance to take a run at Team Tilt, the 2008 regular team champions in Albuquerque. Put together a fantastic performance here about a week ago, shooting 10,065 for team all events.
So the members of Team Tilt moved into 4th place in the team event, 33-26. Also took the lead in doubles, 1-2 in doubles, 14:03, 13:96. Didn't make much of an impact in singles, however, but Joe Keltner leading the way in regular all events right now, 21:54 to lead his team into the top spot in team all events. 10,065, a huge number. Only the 34th team to break 10,000 at the Open Championship, so a lot of work still ahead for these Nicholas J. bowlers as Heilman leaves the 7th pin there on the fill, finishes with 197 here in game 3. So right now it's just a matter of getting every pin they can to put themselves in good position heading into tomorrow.
When is the next live stream for doubles and singles events?
That'll be on April 3rd, I believe. We'll be broadcasting the doubles and singles of Leanne Holstenberg.
Yep. If you're curious about the upcoming live stream schedule, you can find that on the Open Championships page under Rules and Information, or you can go to bowl.com/livestream. And as you said, USBC Hall of Famer Leanne Holstenberg coming up April 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern for doubles and singles, and then just 3 days later, our defending regular singles champ, Henry Teets III from Wisconsin as well. So April 3rd, April 6th, if you want to get a look at the doubles and singles lane condition and how teams are attacking those, there's your chance.
That's a good bowler to watch on that too, because Leanne likes to get to the left and feed it to the right. And with the shorter pattern and a little bit more angular structure in the pattern, I'm curious to see how well she bowls and how far to the left and inside she gets on the lane.
We've certainly had our share of excitement on the live stream so far this year. We saw the legend of Dung Ho take the early team lead. We saw a 299 game from Jason Narlock. And now a great run here from the defending champs, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2. Nothing to be ashamed of at all. 11-33, 11-12. And they're going to have a solid game 3 here to put themselves in good position heading into tomorrow. And as we wind down game 3 here, we'll hopefully have a few words from one of these young men as soon as we're done here.
I was going to say they still have 140 pins out there, 1070 finish, but unfortunately just not enough in the tank to get up to that 33.58 by Breakpoint Pro Shop 2 out of Sartell, Minnesota. See if Peasel can bounce back here after 2 opens. What do you think happened with their ball reaction here this last game, Eric? They're just
yeah, I don't know. I just it's kind of weird because just last time he went high, he got it to that same spot. It just got there a little bit earlier and changed direction. He moved in and kind of tightened it up a little bit and didn't see enough friction. You know, who knows? You know, he could have missed it at the bottom a little bit. He might not have been happy with the shot. Hard to tell. You know, so again, as you start to move left, you know, I don't think always balling down and trying to open up the lane's the right answer. You know, I don't know. It almost looks a little bit like they created a wet, dry couple spots on the lane. I'm a believer that it's if you can find a way to carve away at them where they stay blended, you're always better off. And there's a chance that they might be just a little bit too burnt, and where they move in, they catch a little too much fresh, and they're kind of caught in between.
Trevor Yonan now stepping up on the right lane, having a pretty solid night so far. 44, 226, and looking for a big finish here in game 3. He's been solid every shot I've seen him throw for the last 3 years, to be honest with you. 300 back in 2011, of course the title last year. He shot 679 on the way to the team win, so he's pretty solid all around, and showing that again here tonight in the 4-hole for Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2. And we also have our eye on 29 and 30, Coach's Corner, 11-22, 993. And they're only in the 6th frame right now, but a lot of strikes on the board, so they'll be done well past our finishing point here on our broadcast. So you can check them out on X Bowling, either xbowling.com or the X Bowling Tournament Edition app on your iPhone or Android device. So check that out once again, X Bowling Tournament Edition. Live scoring all the time from the Open Championships. You see Trevor Yonan now finishing things up. Leaves a 9-pin. Cleans it up. So he's going to finish with 228 here in game 3. So very nice effort for Mr. Yonan.
It's 698 to kick off his 2013 campaign.
There's another 710 on the right lane there for Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2. And it's never a good time for one of those for sure. And there it is in the final frame for Andy Mills.
Yeah, that's 3rd one on the right lane and a couple on the left lane. horrible spot.
So he gets 1. Finishes with 221, and they're at 32.71. So that puts them in 7th place. So a solid effort, a really great start, not so good finish. But 32.71 in 7th place right now, and a very good head start heading into tomorrow. Nicholas J's Pro Shop, the companion team, 3,006. So also a solid effort here at the Open Championships. Nothing to be upset about at all. And we'll take a look at the scoreboard here. And we'll see if we can grab one of these guys for you in just a minute. And we'll have a talk with them. Eric Pearson, thanks for joining us tonight, talking lanes in Wisconsin a little bit. And we'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, so we're going to let those guys get a few minutes to decompress, and then we'll have one of them come up here and talk to us for just a few minutes. Right now we're looking at the scoreboard, 32.71, good for top 10. And companion team Nicholas J's Pro Shop, 3,006. Take this opportunity to remind all of you guys that when you're coming out to Reno, there's plenty to do here at the National Bowling Stadium. 4 great events inside the building. Of course, the Open Championships. Storm Bowlers General Championships on the high side of the 4th floor. And 2 great side events downstairs on the 900 Global Showcase Lanes, the 2-game challenge and the Baker Bonanza. So check those out. More information on bowl.com. Just go to the Open Championships page, find your side events, and you can find that and so much more. All right, folks, looks like we're not going to have the opportunity to talk to any of the Nicholas J's guys. They're down there talking about what happened tonight, and I'm sure just trying to figure out what went wrong there in game number 3, so we'll let them do that. But we'll be back with you tomorrow here at the National Bowling Stadium. We won't be live, but we'll be in the building, ready to see how they fare in doubles and singles as they try to chase down the team all events number of 10,065. We do appreciate everybody joining us this evening Once again, this is Matt Canizar. We're live at the 2013 USBC Open Championship. Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2. The defending regular team champion will not repeat here in 2013, but they gave it a solid effort with games of 11-33, 11-12, and 10-26 for 32-71. They'll be in the top 10. Heading into day number 2, that's going to do it for all of us here at the National Bowling Stadium. Matt Canizaro, Aaron Smith, Eric Pearson, Matt McNeel. We do appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time on April 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern for USBC Hall of Famer Leanne Holstenberg as she takes to the lanes for doubles and singles. Thanks again. We'll see you next time, and that's the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.